All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in the 1/3, and Lord's will this lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting to the sincere sheep of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. And the Wadiya Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, forgive me the inspiration to do this lesson. And as the title reads, what will they do when their shepherds get smitten? And pretty much I just want to go into a quick lesson, as we see, evil men waxing worse and worse. I believe that's 2 Timothy 3. Matter of fact, I got to grab that real quick. And this is just a quick exhortation. What are these, these Israelites that have been awoken, but not to the true understanding, that have been awoken, but not to Yahushai, but ultimately have been awoken for the destruction? What are you going to do when your false prophets, your false shepherds, your wicked shepherds get smitten? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to scatter. Okay. And, we're just seeing receipt after receipt after video of everything that the Rachakwadash, okay, has been saying in the warnings and the lessons and the rebukes and the edification about these wicked leaders out here. All right. And, the latest, the flavor of the week is, IUIC saying that they stand in solidarity with a COINTELPRO, just like, that's Black Panthers, COINTELPRO, but funded organizations that so-called Black and brown people have been given as a platform to express their religious beliefs and freedom. But it's nothing more than an option through the curses that Esau has presented before you. And now you're seeing quote unquote notable leaders, standing with these men, and they're just showing you, that they're compromised. All right. And this is because we're at the end. So what is Jake going to do when their shepherds, their leaders, their elders, they get smitten? Because it does tell you, it tells you that the judgment must begin at the house first. And didn't Yahushai get smitten? Didn't Yahushai tell his men that I'm going to get it for you? This is 2 Timothy 3:13. Didn't it say the servant is not greater than his master? Okay. It says, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So evil men are going to wax worse and worse. And we've seen that over the years. We've seen that when, in particular, men who were not acting as evil, I'll say, in 2016, 17. But as you see, starting with 2020 and so on, it's just a gradualism of evilness that has been blatantly shown forth. Okay. And you hear our elders tell us that, certain camps like IUIC have sold out. They've taken the bag, but we still see their numbers, growing. We still see a big support group of Israelites still following and all praising and showing up and happy. This is how they show you in movies, when you got, the wicked Jakes that are winning, they're on one and everybody's smiling and eating and drinking, having a good time. And then who comes storming in? The FBI, the feds. Now you got raided. I'm using this as an example, like we see in movies, and are we not living in the Lord's movie? Okay. So this thing is going to bust wide open. All right. Now I don't have any in particular video to play. I'm just going off of the synopsis, if you will, of the videos that I've came across, the things that I've seen from social media to YouTube to all the slew of videos that, elders and bishops and brothers that are doing, and have been doing for years. All right. And what's Jake going to do? What's Jake going to do when the Lord comes calling? All right. And what I really want to go into is the account in number 16 with Korah. Okay. But what I want to do real quick is I want to build this foundation because Yahweh Shai, and let me say this too, if you didn't know, the reason why Peter denied Yahweh Shai 3 times the night of his betrayal, because it was prophecy that their shepherd would have to be smitten and the sheep of Yahweh Shai would have to be scattered. Okay, so just for you brothers and sisters out there, if you did not know the exact reason why, ultimately it was just because of prophecy. But if this happened to Yahweh Shai, and then we read about prophecies of what's going to happen to false anointed, all right, or in this instance, false Christ, since that's a coined term now, okay, we see this happening to our Lord. Well, how much more the wicked, if this happened to Yahweh Shai for righteousness' sake, according to prophecy, how much more for wickedness and judgment, according to prophecy. Now, let's read this real quick, just to build off this. Matthew 26 and 31. And also, let me just say this, stay away from t-shirt fringed Israelites. I've been really been wanting to do a lesson on that for quite some time, but it hasn't rose to the occasion. But I will say it because it's pressed on my mind to mention it. Even as I just scan my Rolodex of my thoughts, I can't say, okay, well, these guys are okay. I mean, when you go through the list of them, Wi-Fi, the MOTB is not the RFID, IUIC, when you look at these guys, okay, you can go through them now. Sakari does teach, and I believe Deacon, they also as well, they do believe that the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, like we believe, but they're completely in the world and they're pushing rebellion as well. So even in one breath, when you say, okay, yeah, they're doing this, but then in another, you got to take 7 steps back with these guys. Okay. When you look across the slew, the board of teaching that's going on in the Hebrew Israelite community, you have a lot of bug outs. You have a lot of weird, wayward men doing their own thing. And a lot of women are following false prophets. I noticed that. A lot of Hebrew Israelite women that are woken up and all praise and head wrap and check out my garden. All right. Majority of these women, okay, are following false prophets and shepherds. So, hey, for you sincere sisters, hey, thank Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. Okay. And for you brothers out there, continue to keep fighting and keep that spiritual foot down, because we're defending the gospel through the Holy Spirit while everybody else is coming up against it. Okay. So this is Matthew 26 and 31. Then saith Yahweh Shai unto them, speaking to his men, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, see, prophecy, 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 I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. Okay, so Yahweh Shai was warning his men that he was going to be smitten for prophecy's sake. Okay, but what is going to happen to the sheep that are following false shepherds when that shepherd gets smitten for judgment's sake? Okay, what's going to happen then? Are there going to be Israelites that are going to be honest and say they came from this camp? Are they still going to even be in the truth? Were they ever even in the truth? Because Yahweh Shai is the way and the truth, but they call on Christ. So there's a lot of up in the air questions in these last days, while we are remaining grounded with a sure foundation, while the rest built their foundation upon sand. Doesn't it say that? Doesn't it say that? I will liken him unto a foolish man because he built upon sand, and I'll liken him unto a wise man because he built upon this rock. Okay. So what is Jake going to do when judgment starts rolling out? Because how long are we going to continue to see blatant hypocrisy? How long is the Lord going to sit back and allow wickedness and false prophets and shepherds continuing to lie to his people? Because at the end of the day, this is the Lord's people. You brothers, you sisters, you're Yahweh Shai sheep. You're not my sheep. We all following Yahweh Shai. What did Apostle Paul say? Be ye followers of me, even as I am of Hamashiach. So we're all following after Yahweh Shai. But you have other Israelites that are following after Nate, following Yohana, following these other men. They're not following the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai. They're following after men. Okay, look at this guy right here. This 3 years ago. Fopi, he bugged you out, led you to a desert, and left you. That's what's happening. Jake is getting dangled along to a dark place, and they're going to get left. You see that? Because they don't have a light at the end of their tunnel. So what are they going to do? They're going to grope in noonday. You see that? Watch when the shepherds get smit. So now let's go back. Now it says, as it is written. So what I always like to do is I always like to go into the precept where it's written. So Zechariah 13:7, you could really start at 1, false prophets ashamed, okay? Because you have a lot of men out here prophesizing falsely unto you, okay? And a lot of our people are going to be offended when they find out, when it's finally revealed that you are following a false shepherd and a false prophet. You are following a con man, okay? You are following a deceiver. You are following a grievous wolf. You are following a false anointed. What are you going to do? This is Zechariah 13:7. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little one. So right here we see, if you have a math equation, okay, if you add smiting plus a shepherd, it equals sheep being scattered. So we seen that through prophecy with what? Yahweh Shai. Now, do we see that with wicked men as well? Absolutely. Let's go right into it. So when you go into the book of Acts, the 5th chapter, this is Gamaliel, who's actually Apostle Paul, but at the time Saul's teacher. Okay, this is why Apostle Paul called himself a Pharisee of the Pharisees. All right, being taught. When you go into this, there's an in particular account brought up by this doctor of law who tells you about our people following other men and the results of what happened with that. So there's nothing new under the sun. Let's go into it. This is Acts 5:33. It says, when they heard that, they were cut to the heart, and they took counsel to slay them. See, wicked Israelite men always wanted to murder the chosen vessels that were given a mouth that their adversary can't gainsay nor resist. So what's going to happen to these men that speak ill of the elect, that sold out, that sow discord, that are grievous, enter houses of silly women laden with iniquity? What's going to happen to these men when judgment comes calling? It makes me think about that song by Johnny Cash. There's a man going around taking names. He decides who to free and who to blame. So when the blame comes, what is those that listened to the liars? What are they going to do? Okay? Because, see, we're getting ready to be pilgrims upon earth. We're getting ready to call upon Yahweh Shemel Shai in days of trouble. We are in the spirit of getting built up and ready for prophecy while there's nothing but drama going on in the house of Saul. There's a lot of drama going on in the house of Saul right now. A lot of bickering, fighting, music's loud, chickens getting knocked over, fingers getting pointed. And the house of David's over here anointing themselves, praying, fasting, living by the law to the best of their ability, being a brother, being a sister. You see that? There's a big difference. There's a big difference in the spirit that's going on right now. And we see it where? On YouTube. Okay? Not too long ago, you had IUIC and ISUPK fighting. And that is even the first altercation that they got into it with one another. You see? There's a lot of behind the camera activity that's starting to show forth. Okay? Acts 5:34, then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee. Doesn't mean he was wicked just because he's a Pharisee, right? A Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space, and said unto them, ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before these days rose up Theodas, shepherd, boasting himself to be somebody. Wait a minute. Doesn't the scripture say, if he think to be somebody when he's nothing? Let's see that. Let me see what comes up. Galatians 6:3. For if a man think, big word, think, lean on your own understanding. I thought. No. For if a man think himself to be something, yeah, and we was out there. Shalom, Israel. No, bro, you're tripping, man. You're tripping. That's pride. That's pride. That's a problem. That's a heavy spirit that is just flowing through our people is pride and not humility. The scriptures say humility before honor, but men skipped over humility and went right to the honor. Most High Christ bless. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. Remember, it says waxing worse, deceived and being deceived. Notice the word deceived keeps popping up in this lesson. So we are watching deceived individuals going down with a sinking ship. And those all on board are going to drown right with it. It says, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another, for every man shall bear his own burden. So there you go. If a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he is a completely deceived individual. And we see that. Just something simple as this, you know. Now, I know it says, thy eye shall see thy teacher. Of course. But one thing, lots going on. Now, no one said anything 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. But out of nowhere, now other t-shirt fringe Israelite camps are starting to speak about one another. But before that, it was just, you know, F great millstone. Everybody else is cool. Shalom, unity. Now, out of nowhere, t-shirt fringes are getting mad at other t-shirted fringes. But, you know, going back, one thing I noticed, you know, I always see Nate's face glorified. You know, he's put on a high level. He's put on this very high level. Let me put this in just to show you. I'm into visuals. Bishop Nathaniel, you go right here. You know what I'm getting at. Just want to show you. Okay. Where's those pictures, Nate? Where's those real good ones I like? This one's okay. You just look deep enough and you'll find it. Okay. We're not out here sitting on gold and thrones and colors and, you know, beautiful garments. No, you're just getting the raw truth. You're getting the beauty in the spirit. This is why Yahweh Shai said, outwardly whited sepulchres, but inwardly dead man's bones. See that? Stuff like this. This is like the Russian icon. You see, that's sun worship. Not saying he worships the sun. I'm just telling you this is going back to sun worship. See that? Got the garment, you know, and you're easily swayed by this, like a barracuda. A barracuda, you want to catch a barracuda? Put your shiniest silver watch on a hook and throw it in the water, okay? And you'll be surprised how many niggas jump out of the water. That's what Jake into. Jake into the shiny, glitz, glamour. No. We're here as true believers in the spirit. It wasn't the outward that roped us in. It was the inward. Remember, Apostle Paul said that, I believe, to the Galatians. He said, you ain't learned this truth because of this. You learned it because inwardly. Let me get that real quick. Just comes to mind. I think it's Galatians 3. It might be 1. Right here, Galatians 3 and 2. This only would I learn of you. Received ye the Spirit by the works of the law or by hearing of faith? See? Did you learn about this because what you saw outwardly or what happened inwardly? Very big difference. So for using this tactic to gain followers, that shows you in a time of tribulation, a lot of them are going to fall away because they're not rooted. All right. Mark the 5th chapter. Remember the parable? Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Remember the parable Yahweh Shai said? So we're going to find out real soon who's, or is it Mark 4? Who's here for Yahweh Shemal Shai? Yep, the 4, excuse me. So we can start at 1, but I want to just get down right to the point. The explanation. Mark 4 and 13, it says, and he said unto them, know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? Which Yahweh Shai spoke in parables, because I believe it's Psalm 78. It's a quick Google, but it said that he would be speaking unto them in parables. It says, the sower soweth the word. And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown, but when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. Cognitive dissonance, as Esau would call it on a level of psychology. But this is why when you, like a good example is when Polite came up to the apostles, he was listening, you know, they were going back and forth. And I believe it was like a loud siren or a horn. Something happened in the midst of their conversation, and it took him just like they immediately look. It distracted him, and he was back to the old debating and look. If you see, You know, that's why when certain brothers may come to camp and they're inquiring, and then there stuff's going crazy, we say, that's just Satan. That's Satan. Don't worry about it. So listen to this. And if the Lord's dealing with them, they're going to listen. But if not, they're going to be taken away because it wasn't meant for them to get it. But Yahweh Shai told us that before. It's just like he told us when the shepherd gets smitten, the sheep are going to scatter. And these are they likewise, which are sown on stony ground, who when they have heard the word, immediately received it with glad. Oh my goodness, Most High Christ, glad. Yeah, I'm a princess. I'm a prince. I'm a king. Oh, I'm going to get married. You're my wife. Deuteronomy, right? Gladness, happy, makes you feel good. Remember, it was sweet, then it turned bitter. Are you going to be there in the bitter? You can be there in the sweet, but are you there for the bitter? And have no root in themselves. See that? They don't got no root. So if they don't got no root, they're going to be easily pulled up. And trust me, I've done a lot of digging, okay? I've came across some tough roots that I could barely get out, all right? And that's the rooting, that's the kind of rooting we want, that real strong tree, you know, where you can't even get the root out. And then most times you'll have to put a chain link to it and pull it out with a truck. And if that don't work, you just might have to cut around the root just to dig your hole further. So the point is, when you are rooted, that is a very difficult job to uproot you. But if you're not rooted, oh, you're gone like the wind, and have no root in themselves. And that's another thing I got to say, with these t-shirt fringe Israelite camps, I speak as a man, but the open door policy that you have, I know the scriptures say you're gonna bring in bad and good, but I mean, at least try to stop the bad from coming in. But I mean, can you say that all of your fruit is good? How many videos come out correcting a camp like IUIC, and it ain't even just from Nate talking, it's men around Babylon breaking scriptures down. And the reason why I say that, because it says ye shall know the tree by its fruit. Okay, so that should let you know right there. Now let's keep going. It says, and have no root in themselves, so endure but for a time. Shalom, shalom. Yep, we're back. Oh, men's conference, Passover, marching. Who's king? Christ king, right? Let's go to Oakland now. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. What did Yahushua say? You'll be offended. You'll be offended. See that? I ain't with this no more. They got the YouTube video. I used to be an Israelite, Now I'm no longer an Israelite. It says, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. You got to be careful that this word does not get choked up by the lusts of this world, okay? We may have liberty, we're under grace, but we're also mindful to not have the word get choked up by our own personal endeavors. But that spirit is not being pushed on a lot of our people in a manner for them to receive, because there's a lot of bad that have came in. Remember, Yahushua said, you cast you out your net, you'll bring in both bad and good. Well, there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of Israelites that are not of the elect. There's a lot of Israelites that were set up to know they were Israelites just so they could be destroyed. So when their shepherd gets smitten, what are these Israelites going to do? And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. So right here, Yahushua broke down the different aspects of the Israelites that are going to be coming into this walk, and not all of them are going to be rooted, grounded, and endure. You see that? So now let's go back. This is Acts 5. This is Acts 5 and 36. For before these days rose up Theodas, boasting himself to be somebody when he's nobody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves. There was some woman there, right? Who was slain. He was smitten. Who was slain, and all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught. You see that? So all this bigging and boasting and bragging and the biggest Passovers and the Feast of Tabernacles and all this. Well, what happens when the shepherd gets smitten? What happens when judgment goes out? Where does the sheep go then? Because as we read, the sheep get scattered. After this rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing. By who? The Romans. And drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. Look at this, brothers. You see that? We have the math equation to the problem that we see in front of us today. False shepherd plus judgment equals scattering. See that? After this man, verse 38, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone, for if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. That's what's getting ready to happen. We're getting ready to see the naughty figs come to naught. The naughty figs are getting ready to come to naught. All right, so let's jump into Numbers real quick. Let's go into a naughty fig. Very rebellious. I believe he was a young man, and he wanted the seed of Moses. Didn't Yahushua say that? Matthew 23, the desire to see the Moses. Let me just get that real quick. Let me get that. We're in the last minutes of the Sabbath. The Sabbath for me just ended right now, 7:40. The memorial blowing of the trumpets. All right. So we ended the Sabbath with a lesson. Barakatah Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, so look at this. Matthew 23 and 2. It said, let me start at 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples. So Yahushua, if Yahushua was on YouTube, he'd be doing a lesson right now, pointing at this, talking right now, okay? If Yahushua was on YouTube live right now, he'd be getting on these wicked jakes. Matthew 23 is Israel united in their Christ chapter, okay? You want to read about IUIC? Read Matthew 23. Matthew 23 and 1, then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. See that? So men always want those seats. Verse 6, and love the uppermost rooms at feast and the chief seats in the synagogues. They want those chief seats. See that? You don't see our elders, our bishops, our camp leaders, our beloved brothers. You don't see us out here like this. You don't see no pictures. You don't see me on Facebook like this, but we see them like that. So one has to say, Now let's keep going. Matthews, back in Numbers. Now, number 16, look, here's Moses. And we have men coming up against Moses. And now we have men sitting in the seat of Moses. See that? Korah's rebellion. You always got young men that want to try to take a position that Yahweh Shemel Shai has given to his chosen men. All right. Remember, when David was chosen, it had to be said, look. Don't look on his outward appearance why I didn't choose him. Didn't also say I've chosen pastors according to my heart, So you gotta understand that. When you see the brothers out there, you believe that this is the truth. You gotta understand, wow, the Lord set it up like this. The Lord set up that raw spirit out here. Hey, Yahweh Shemel Shai did not tell us to come out in the book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 3. The Lord ain't set us up like that. That ain't with it, but that's what they're pushing, and they're using that bait. And the sheep that they're getting is not set up to be delivered. Okay, they're set up to be destroyed. They're just set up to be marked and destroyed. It's a real thing. 2/3. Now let's just jump right into it. I don't want to make this lesson too long, but if you want, read it yourself. But basically, Korah is bucking up against Moses, and we've seen that. I've seen very young men buck up against our elders and apostles, and where are they now? See that? So it's just best to be humble, So let's go right into let's get right to the meat of the matter. Number 16, and where do we want to start? Let's just start at 16. It says, and Moses said to unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Lord every man his censer. 250 censers thou also, and Aaron each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them, right? And put fire in them and laid incense thereon and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation of Aaron and Moses. So right here we're reading, okay, right here we're reading a situation between a Israelite man that gathered a company unto himself and believed that he could lead the people more than Moses. Because let me see, actually. Let me see if I can show you a statement he made. Let's see. Let's see right here. Oh, let's just start at 1. It says, now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, right? And Danath and Abiram, the son of Elab, and On, and the son of Peleth, the son of Reuben, took men. See that? They rose up before Moses with certain of children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. You see that now. Kendrick Lamar, Cousin Duckworth, Jagged Edge. I'm just, I'm not dissing no one. I'm not knocking you for having, quote unquote success in Babylon. But we also see that they had men like that back then. All right. It says, and they gathered themselves together against Moses. They weren't for him. They were against him and against Aaron, and said unto them, ye take too much upon you. What did Eleazar say? He said, Elder Pastahar is getting too old. See that? Didn't chorus of that. See? Seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them, wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. So right here, we see the rebellion taking place, a murmurer, okay, murmuring against the set leadership, all right, the order, the rank. There's a spiritual ranking system that's taking place, and men are carnally coming up against that and carnally putting themselves in that same stature. But are you in that rank spiritually? You can be in that rank carnally, but do you have that rank in the spirit? Do you have this rank before Yahweh Bashem Shai? See, this is why accounts like these are edifying, because when this carnality rose up in their heart, the Lord completely checked it. So a great checking is coming. Check, please. Now, so let's jump down number 16. And where are we at here? The censer. Okay. Look, it says Moses was wroth. Come on, man. So verse 18, and they took every man his censer and put fire in them and laid incense thereof, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. See that? And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. You see that? Separate yourselves from among this congregation. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. All right. And they fell upon their faces and said, O Yahweh, the power of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And Yahweh Bashem Shai spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Delath, and Abiram. So right here, the Lord said, yo, get away from them then. Get away from them. Don't wait till they get judged to get away from them now. Okay, get away from them now. If you got Israelites that have come across videos like these and you ain't taking heed, then you're going to be guilty with them. And Moses rose up and went unto Delath and Abiram. The elders of Israel followed him, and he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs. Don't bring none of their precepts. Don't bring none of their garments. Don't bring none of their doctrine. Don't bring none of that shit that you've been eating off over there. We don't want it over here. Okay? No. This is holy. We're moving in a different spirit. Don't try to mingle what you've been eating and bring those ingredients to this table, because this table is of the Lord. What communion does light have with darkness? It says, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Delath and Abram on every side, and Delath and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that Yahweh Bashim Shai has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them on my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if Yahweh Bashim Shai make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that are pertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. See that? So judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. If you're not fleeing now, you will flee later. But these wicked men will be smitten. And we read about it time and time again. Go read Ezekiel 34. Read Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 16. It's coming. 1 Peter 4 and 17. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods, they and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit. That's a scary thing, man. Okay, and you got big camps. You have. I'm just speaking. Okay, imagine a YouTube video of one of these known wicked camps. They're out there full fledged. You know, they're out there with the staffs and the boots and the Kwam Yasharala. They got the beach chairs. They got the sensors. You know, Edomite comes up and gets slain, and then the earth opens up on them. That's been happening. You see that? Judgment like that can happen at a beck. Okay, we're reading about it. See? So things are going to happen out here, man. Judgment is going to happen. And the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation, and all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them. See? The sheep scatter when the shepherd is smitten. And all Israel, so all these YouTube accounts vanished away. All these Sister Sarahs and the Malachis, all the fire emojis, all the APPT, MBCBs, you know, the acronyms, they all disappeared. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. Look, and it ain't done. And there came out a fire from the Lord, chariots, and consumed 250 men that offered incense. So the Lord was getting busy. Okay? You got to understand that Yahweh Bashim Shai is getting ready to get busy. And I have to read 1 Peter 4 and 17. Judgment is coming. 1 Peter 4 and 17, for the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh. And also, I got to get this. We are in that season. Ezekiel, this is the second time I brought this precept out this week, but it pertains to this lesson. It pertains to this warning. Watch. Ezekiel 9 and 4, and the Lord said unto me, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. This mark is talking about the exempt from judgment. So what happens to those that are not exempt from judgment? And to the others, he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. So they're not going to spare you because you have fringes. They're not going to spare you because you have a beard. They're not going to spare you because you're not wearing mixed fabric. They're not going to spare you because you don't have no pork in your belly. Okay? Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women and children. but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men, elder, bishop, see that? General, king. Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. See that? Judgment begins at the house. So what are the sheep gonna do when their shepherds get smitten? Okay, Jeremiah 23. See that? I got that one. And then also read this one. I'm gonna wrap it up, but you can read this on your own. This prophecy, Ezekiel 34. All right. Prophecy against the shepherds of Israel. See that? Great judgment is coming. Okay. And we went into examples of what happens when there's a false shepherd. Okay. And what happens to the sheep that follow him. So take heed. Okay. Take heed. Now we're in a time to be steadfast and unmovable. Don't question the doctrine in the sense of, well, I think I can call on Christ. You better stay steadfast in Yahweh Shemel Shai, or you can be judged right with him. So just want to do that quick lesson. I pray it was edifying, encouraging, and exhorting. I just want to say, call halal, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that do well. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said, shalom.